Hi and welcome to another edition of Onside. We're back to our league football, the British League, and of course the South African League as well. We've also got a big game with Mamelodi Sundowns playing against Zamalek. We're going to talk about that. We've had the international football. We've seen what's going on there, but it's back to the action. Everyone's waiting for results this weekend to see how the league is going to unfold. Bear in mind, we've got a game on Monday night, a massive game. Two of the great sides meet each other, Liverpool at home to Manchester United. But Delron Buckley, unfortunately, he's tied up with Amazulu at the moment. He'll be back next weekend, but Budge and I are here to crack right on and give you some insight into what's going on. And Budge's bets are flying. So let's get straight into it. Budge, looks like it's great to get back to the Premier League.
Yeah, big weekend, moving week for a few teams, Paul, yeah?
Yeah, just before we go through the different games, a couple of players have been injured in their matches over the weekend playing for their country, so that creates problems for the club sides.
Yeah, definitely. I just worry about the guys from the South American sides that they played. There's a few big players. Sanchez for Arsenal, I think Rondon for West Brom. You know, they're key players in their teams. I know Arsenal should be able to cope, but Rondon against Spurs could be a big miss.
Could be a big miss. So it's straight into the action. And but the last game that we're going to talk about is obviously going to be Liverpool at home to Manchester United. And if Liverpool win it, and Liverpool are playing the better football, if they win it, they'll be 6 points clear of United quite early in the league, which is a big step. Yeah,
big step, Paul. What's strange is since Klopp's got to Liverpool, they've scored more goals than any other team in England. When the Premiership.
Oh, that's an amazing stat. Yeah. He's conceded a few.
Oh, plenty. Conceded a few more on Monday, but not that they won't score either.
I know it's going to be a hell of a game, but let's get straight into it and let's go on to our British League, which we always start with. And here are the first games that come along. And Budge, Chelsea, Leicester, the champions go to Chelsea, the former champions.
Yeah.
And Leicester are not the same side as last year. They let in goals from set pieces. They've been up and down, but they have some ability on the break, especially.
Well, if you look at the strengths of both teams, it's both attacking, defensively, they've both been bad.
Yeah.
You know, Leicester have conceded 10 goals in their 3 away games.
Wow,
you know, 4 to United, 4 to Liverpool and 2 to Hull.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's screaming that Kante being sold is a major loss, which it is to a degree, but the two centre-halves have been invisible this year.
Yeah, that's right. Hughes
and Morgan, so if they don't improve there...
Yeah, you know. That's it. Was it who scored so many goals again? Was it Arsenal or somebody every set piece, or was it United or somebody thumped them? Somebody thumped Leicester.
United scored 3 corners against them the other day.
Yeah, so that's where it is now. Now Chelsea, they've got to regather, regroup, and as I said, I was very fortunate, I should say, to bump into one of their players in France when I went to watch my horse run.
Yeah.
And he believes they've got a league-winning team.
Well, what's strange, Diego Costa, since he's been in England, there's only 2 people that have scored more goals than him.
Is that right?
That's Harry Kane and Aguero. I think he's going to go back to his old Italian mentality, play the 3 centre-halves, 3, 5 and 2. So your mate Marcus Alonso will be the left wing-back.
Yeah.
You know, they're dodgy at the back, Paul. You know, John Terry's ankles, apparently.
Is he back in yet?
John Terry, no. Reports that he's still out with an ankle injury. So they're going to play 3 at the back, Azpilicueta, Cahill, and maybe David Luiz or Ivanovic. Victor Moses was a wing-back with Alonso. They played Kante and Modric. Sorry, not Modric, Matic.
Yes.
And then he wants to get Hazard away from the left wing. He wants him playing just behind Costa, so he's got him and Williams, so it'll be an interesting game. Yeah.
When you look at a side like that going forward, those quality players will get into most Premier League sides.
Oh, no doubt, they're good going forward, but you can't keep shipping goals in.
Yeah, that's true. So how do you see this game?
You know, goals number 1, definitely. Well, it should be. The only thing is it's a lunchtime kickoff, and sometimes it takes a bit to get going. But of the 2 teams, you've got to fancy Chelsea being at home, but I think this will be a high-scoring official. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the second game. Arsenal, they're riding high after getting beaten on the opening day of the tournament against Swansea. Now, Swansea haven't been that bad.
No, they haven't been that bad, but Paul, fortunately, the only thing they've got going in their favour, Swansea, is they Arsenal's bogey team. The last 2 games at the Emirates, they've won. But Arsenal have won their last 5. They're looking good. Now, Swansea have replaced their manager. Guidolin got fired, and they put an American guy in.
Yeah, that's Bradley.
Bob Bradley, yeah. Now, I don't know where they found him from, because he was at Norway last season with a team called Stabæk.
He did all right with America.
Yeah, you're always, because they're always organised. You know,
Yeah.
he was the 2010 World Cup. He was a manager.
Yeah, so he's organised. I remember his son played for
Yeah, his son
America.
midfield player to Roma.
So
yeah.
I think they're going to be organised, but it's a baptism
Arsenal
by
are coming
fire.
right. The younger
Yeah.
players are firing. You'd expect Arsenal to win this easily.
And do you believe Sanchez won't play?
You know, he's one of those guys that wants to play every game. But,
Yeah.
you know, he may play, but maybe they'll just put him on the bench. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. So Arsenal 1-4 look like the team to beat. Stoke City, they turned it around to a degree, getting a draw against Manchester United.
Yeah.
And Sunderland have been luckless.
Well, they both haven't won a league game.
Okay.
You know, Sunderland, the last 2 games they've drawn. They should have beat West Brom at home.
Yeah.
You know, they scored an injury time, and they were lucky against
Were
United.
they
were 1-0 up, and I think it was Rondon scored an injury time. They drew 1-0 at home. Against United...
They lost 3-2 to some team after being 2-0 up.
Yeah, no, that was Sunderland. Sunderland lost to Crystal Palace 3-2.
That's right, yeah.
But
Yeah.
Stoke have done quite well. This is a big game for Mark Hughes. They're the better team. You know, Shaqiri's back, and
Yeah.
Arnautovic. This is a game they've got to win.
Yeah, they've
Sunderland
got
would take a point. You know, with Jermaine Defoe up front, you've got a recognised goal scorer. You've always got a chance, but they just don't look...
Okay, and then I think Bournemouth are playing well. Bournemouth, as they're
yeah.
called down this neck of the woods. Bournemouth, Hull City.
I fancy Bournemouth big time. I watched them against Watford. Cracker of a game, 2-2. They've made the least number of changes in their starting 11. They've only made 4 changes
Very
to the
settled.
starting 11, yeah. They've got more English players starting than any other team. But I think they'll be too good, yeah. They had 7 of them the other day. I know one's a converted South African, the guy Anthony Sermon.
Yeah.
But, he's a Joburg boy who's living in England most of his life. But they've got 7 starters. I think they'll be too good. Their last game at home, they beat Everton. They outplayed Everton.
Okay.
Wilshire's coming to form. I think they'll have too much for Hull.
Okay, then how about Manchester City, Everton? Manchester City have drawn against Celtic. They lost to Spurs. And people have said, if you press up right up in their faces and don't allow them to play around, they're not quite the same side, but they're a top side.
Well, it's easy to say press up against the back four, and
Yeah.
they aren't too good. But let Aguero and co start pushing up on your back four.
Yeah.
Now, statistically, I looked the other day, they've run 7 kilometres more this year than they did last year. So you can see the pressing that Guardiola wants.
Yeah.
The rumours are De Bruyne may return. I don't think he will, because they play Barcelona on Wednesday in the Champions League.
And Everton are no slouches.
No, strangely, the managers played for Barcelona in the 90s.
Yes, that's
You know,
right.
Koeman and Guardiola, they won 4 leagues and a European Cup together. So
Yeah.
Koeman's a top manager. I like him.
Yeah.
He'll have his team set up well. They're very similar style teams.
Yes.
You know, you would think Man City would win, but I think this is a game Everton could sneak something.
Okay, that's interesting talk. West Brom, Tottenham. Now, I remember West Brom, when we were doing well in the league last year, we lost 2-1.
Yeah.
We lost to Newcastle 2-1, you know, and things like that. So we don't want to stutter here, my beloved Spurs.
Well, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only stat against Spurs is they've conceded 3 goals, all from set pieces. Now, I know Milner's was a penalty, but it is classified as a set piece.
Yeah.
West Brom, that's their strength, set pieces.
Yes, that's
but
right.
I was impressed with Spurs against Man City. They should have too much pace for them. As long as Son keeps his scoring boots on.
Yeah, Kane, no mention of him coming back.
No.
And you say Rondon's out.
Rondon, well, he played for Venezuela against Brazil Wednesday morning our time. I saw the highlights, obviously, Wednesday morning.
Would
He plays for Venezuela. He could play, but
Okay.
I doubt it.
Okay, then Crystal Palace having a good time lately against West Ham and not having a good time lately.
Well, West Ham just keep shipping in goals.
Yeah,
You know, and if it's not for Payet, who scores, you know?
yeah, that's right.
Andy Carroll's out, Sacco's out, Andre Ayew's out, and at the back, it's just open gates.
Yeah.
I
And-
can see Crystal Palace with Benteke.
Offside Benteke.
Offside Benteke. Yeah, strangely, only one person scored more headers than he has in the last 4 years.
In the last 4 years?
Oliver Giroud.
Oh yeah, he's very good at that. That's an interesting stat. So you're big on Crystal
Yeah,
Palace.
big time, Paul.
Okay, the London derby to go to Crystal Palace. Bear that in mind, guys. Middlesbrough, Watford. Will many people watch?
Paul, Sunday lunchtime kickoff in England. I think it's,
yeah.
you know, Watford are one of those teams, they're gung-ho. Strange that they've got an Italian manager, but
Yes.
they've scored and conceded in almost every game they've played in. This is a game Middlesbrough have to win.
Do they?
Yeah, this is a big game for Middlesbrough. You know, they've struggled of late.
Okay.
I think there's goals in this. Of the 2 teams, I like Watford.
Okay, fair enough. But Middlesbrough have to get something
This
out
is
of
a
it.
big game for them. Yeah.
Okay, Southampton, they're doing well. Burnley haven't been too bad.
They just can't score goals, Burnley. I think they've only scored in 2 of their 7 league games.
One was against Liverpool.
One was against Liverpool, yeah. They were unlucky against Arsenal. They conceded the last kick of the game.
The handball.
It was a handball, yes. Folks had a great chance to score.
Yes.
He missed it and they hit the bar from a corner.
So they got a shot.
They've got a shot. I'm impressed with Southampton. I know their left back, Ryan Bertrand, pulled a hammy for England against Malta last Thursday.
Yes.
Good player. They're coming right, Southampton. You'd expect Southampton to win, but breaking down Burnley is not going to be easy.
Okay, and then the big game of the weekend, but a lot of people's mind, two teams with the greatest successes in English football. Man United, there are questions about their ability, about the way they're playing, but there's no question about the quality they've got. Pogba is a world-class act. He's slowly piecing it together, I believe, from watching it. He's fluffed a lot of chances, but he's making chances. He scored for France.
Yeah.
Is this team coming right? Has Anthony Martial got over his girlfriend dumping him? There's a lot of factors.
Yeah, Paul, I think we are coming right.
Yeah.
We should have beat Stoke 3 or 4. Now, if we beat Stoke 4-0, all the United fans are happy. The result, obviously, was a drawback, but I think we can go there and give them problems. Liverpool's strength, obviously, is attacking. Defensively, they're hopeless, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't like either goalkeeper. And from set pieces, we'll get joy.
Yeah, you got that Satan up front. They're very fast going forward. Liverpool have impressed me.
Yeah.
When they get forward, they've got a lot of pace. They're a very good side going forward. I agree with you. They have some frailty at the back, but at home, when last did they get a thumping at home? A long time.
They haven't been beat at home for a long time. I think Stoke beat them in the League Cup second leg, 1-0. But Liverpool at home, they're obvious favourites. Unfortunately, was at the Europa League home game at Old Trafford last season. They destroyed United.
Yeah.
Going forward, the only thing is Lallana, who has been a top player for them this year, and Wijnaldum, they're both doubtful. Now, if they come out, the pressing that those guys do, it's going to affect them. I know Emre Can will come in.
Yeah.
But it will affect them. But, you'd expect this to be a high-scoring game.
But can you come away with a point?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, great game.
It should be. Well, I hope it is.
Not to miss. Right, there we are. That's British football, and very, very good football this weekend. Let's go Champions League now. It's Champions League final, CAF. This is our beloved Sundowns too, who have really been a good side over the years against Zamalek. They're odds on.
Well, they met in the group stage, and Sundowns won both games.
Okay.
My only concern for Sundowns is they got well beat by Wits in the MTN8 final last week.
Yeah.
Will that leave a mental scar? I don't know. These Egyptian teams, they're going to come up, 10-man defence, look to catch them on the break, spoil the game because they're quite strong at home. You've got to fancy Sundowns, but I just don't trust these Egyptian teams. They can come.
Where are they playing this now?
This is in Pretoria.
And then is there another leg?
Second leg away. Yeah.
Second leg away, and then those two legs determine who wins.
Correct. Yeah.
So we've got to get.
Well, we're hoping for Sundowns. Yeah.
Okay. Right. That's a very good game to watch, especially. Okay, now we're going to go on to South African PSL, which is turning out to be very interesting. What we must impress upon you, when you look at the league at the moment for the PSL, it looks a little out of kilter for the simple reason a team like Mamelodi Sundowns have played one league match. Kaizer Chiefs have played 5. Bidvest, who are supposed to play Sundowns this weekend, have only played 3. So it could change a lot, but let's go through what we've got here, Budge. Let's start. Does this sit here? Platinum Stars, Bloem Celtic.
Yeah. Now, Platinum Stars, mystery team. They've played Chiefs and Pirates away and drawn. The 3 home games, they've lost 2. Sure. Bloemfontein Celtic, likewise, they can't win at home, but they've got a far better away record. So you'd expect a draw. It's a 3 o'clock game, and I think it's in Petersburg. Expect a scorcher. This could be 0-0.
Get Rassie on up front. It won't be 0-0. Right, let's go to Free State Stars. They're the second one against Maritzburg United. Now, in KZN, how many teams have we got in this league?
Well, we've got Golden Arrows.
Yes, and wonderful.
Maritzburg, yeah.
So we need Delron's team to come back. Yeah, we need Amazulu, Heba, Usutu. But how do you see this game, Budge?
Well, another game. They both played 5 league games and only scored 1 goal.
Oh, another 0-0.
Another 0-0. Yeah, you just don't know what they're working on at training. But
Defense.
They both can't score goals, Paul.
Right, now the Golden Arrows play Chipper. Now Golden Arrows up second in the league, but Chipper are right up there. They only played 3 games.
Yeah, I like Chipper, Paul. I watched them in the MTA 2 semi-finals. They gave Sundowns 2 good games.
Yeah.
They got beat 1-0 in Pretoria in the second leg.
Yeah.
So Arrows are going well. They joined top of the league with Chiefs. They are second on goal difference. Hard to beat at home. Of the
game?
two, this should be a good game. As long as the Magogo Stadium in KwaMashu can take the rain.
Yeah.
I like chipper of the two teams. Paul.
So it's if
be a
you're going to
close
watch
game.
one game, you've got to watch this game.
Yeah, this will be a good game, yeah.
Okay, Kaizer Chiefs, they lead the league. They're 4-10 to beat Ajax
Should
Cape
be.
Town.
Yeah, the game's in Durban. Chiefs are playing, I've heard, 9 league games in Durban this year.
Why is that?
Well,
for their fans?
Must be for the fans around the country. And also, I don't think, nowadays Chiefs at home was a full house. They can't fill the stadium in Johannesburg.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Well,
So
that's recent
because
times, yeah.
you'd think for the players that you'd want to play at home. I know
Well,
when I played, when you played at home was a great playing at home. So they're going to play away, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. So they'll beat Cape Town.
They should be.
Cape Town,
Ajax beat them in the cup final last year, 1-0. The game played in Port Elizabeth. But,
Yes.
A lot of youngsters, just inconsistent. They'll obviously be up for it. But Chiefs have done well. The goalkeeper Cooney's been brilliant the last few games.
Who's the guy who plays for the national side there?
Cooney, the goalkeeper.
Very good goalie. He saved him a couple of times.
He's kept 3 clean sheets. They've won the last 3 games. You've got to fancy Chiefs.
Okay. Cape Town City, they've just got rid of one of their players, I read, and they play Baraka Calcium.
Well, Cape Town City, that's Eric Tinkler's team.
Yes.
They played 4 home games, won 3 and drawn 1. They beat Chiefs in the MTN 8. They drew with Wits. They were lucky, but they drew 0-0. I think they'll beat Baraka.
Yeah,
Baraka just come up. They've
Yeah.
conceded in most of the games. They'll be competitive.
Yeah.
But you've got to fancy Cape Town City at home.
Okay, Polokwane versus Orlando Pirates. Now, Orlando Pirates have only played 4 games. If they had played their 5th game and won it, they would lead the
They
league.
would go, yeah. They've won 2 and drawn 2. The only game they've lost was in the MTN 8 against Wits when the goalkeeper tossed 2 in.
So they're unbeaten in the league?
So they're unbeaten in the league,
Bit of Spurs about them.
Bit of Spurs about them, yeah. Them and a few more teams.
Will they beat Polokwane?
They should. Now, Polokwane is the only team that's given that Wits haven't beat. They drew 0-0 in the league in Polokwane. At home they're competitive.
Yes.
Pirates are one of these Jekyll and Hyde teams. On the day they'll beat anybody.
Yeah.
This won't be easy, but you've got to fancy Pirates of the 2 teams.
Okay, do we take the 8-10 on Supersport against Highlands Park?
They've scored 2 goals in 5 league games, Supersport United.
Who's the boss there now?
It's Stuart Baxter.
It is Baxter, yeah.
They're good players, well organised, scored 2 goals, conceded 2. Highlands got promoted last year. Their manager, Alan Fries, he's got them well organised, having a full go. Now, the guy that plays up front for them is a guy called Collins Mbasuma.
Yeah.
He scored for Zambia against Nigeria last week. Big, strong guy.
Is he
up
with
front.
Highlands?
He's with Highlands Park. He was with Black Aces last season, but since they went to Cape Town, they sold him to Highlands. So he'll be a threat.
Okay, that's very, very good. So, Budge, that's the wrap of the football this weekend. Now we've got to go and have a look at the Soccer 6, Soccer 10. Let's start off with Soccer 6. The first one that comes up is our local one, Budge. And I see you spending 216 Rand here, Budge.
Yeah.
Now, you've left the door open in this first one.
Yeah, Free State Stars Maritzburg, nobody can score. So
Yes.
I've gone 1, 2, 3. Whoever scores wins. I like Chipper. I've been really impressed with them. It won't be easy in Durban against Arrows, but I've gone Chipper in the draw. Platinum Stars Celtic, anything's possible there.
Yeah.
Kaizer Chiefs should beat Ajax. I've thrown the draw in with Sundowns and Zamalek because I think
of the last game.
Finals, Paul. They're difficult. Could be tens, tactical. And Cape Town City, I think, will beat Baraka.
216. There we go. Soccer 6. Now let's have a look at the next one we got. Now we're going to the British Soccer 6. And again, I can see why you're banking Arsenal.
Paul, I think you'll see with our later bets on. I think there's a few good bets here. I've gone Bournemouth in the draw. While I think Bournemouth are good things, I give Everton a shot to get a point at Man City. I fancy Stoke and draw with Sunderland. Spurs should win, but I've thrown the draw in because I permalise it. And likewise, Crystal Palace, I've thrown the draw in the London derby against West Ham.
Okay, that's 192 Rand. Let's go look at Soccer 10. Page 1. Right, we've gone for the Arsenal.
Yep, I've gone 1 and 2. Now, Brighton have stopped conceding goals. I got a lot of abuse last week. I went against Preston and we beat Aston Villa at home. My boys overseas were scathing on me how I deserted them, but it cost Robert.
You've deserted them again.
Well, Brighton at home. Brighton will be close this year, Paul.
Yeah,
They've won 4, drawn 1 their last 5 games. They've only conceded 1 goal.
Okay, Bournemouth.
I think, will beat Hull City.
In the bigger one, you're going for the win. And,
Yep.
Derby County.
Derby
Leeds.
1, 2, 3. Well, Steve McLaren's gone back to Derby.
The Wally with the Brolly.
The Wally with the Brolly. Yeah, now Leeds have won, I think it's 5 of the last 6 league games. They've come well under Gary Monk.
Yeah.
But Derby, since they got rid of Nigel Pearson, they drew at Reading, which was a good result.
Yes.
I think they beat Cardiff. So this will be a close game. Man City, I've thrown the draw and looking for an upset there.
Okay, let's have a look at page 2.
QPR Reading, I just don't trust it. QPR got the second best away record, but at home they're shocking.
That's strange, eh?
Reading, Jaap Stam's team, well organised.
Jaap Stam?
Yep, Jaap Stam.
The centre-half for Man United?
Yep,
I read his book.
Yeah. He's, I've gone 1, 2, 3 because of Permalazard. I've gone Stoke in the draw against Sunderland. I've banked Spurs. I think they'll be too good. Yeah. Aston Villa.
What about Aston Villa got a new boss.
Steve Bruce has taken over. I know half of the fans don't really like it because he was in charge of Birmingham.
Yes.
You get the Birmingham rivalry, but I think that's a good decision.
Keith Hughes will be happy.
Yeah, well, they've drawn 7 and lost 2 of the last 9 league games, Villa.
They haven't won, eh?
They haven't won. They've spent more money than anybody in the league.
And the new Brom sweeps clean, they'll probably win.
More than likely.
And
Wolves, they've done okay, inconsistent. They were the team that beat Newcastle away 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So they've got it in them to cause an upset. And you know what local derbies are like.
And you're big on Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I'm big time.
Get on side, Benteke.
Paul, I just can't have West Ham. Every time I watch them, it's...
Yeah,
no,
they are struggling, even with the new ground. Okay, let's look at the Soccer 13, which will be very interesting. Now we really got to go for it.
Yeah.
And, Crystal Palace, we've gone for Arsenal, Bournemouth, the top 3 there. Man City, Everton, you're giving Everton a
I'm
flicker.
giving them a squeak, yeah. I just think that this is make or break for them. They've had a good start. The last 2 games have been disappointing. They're similar style teams. If people bank at Man City, I wouldn't blame them and put that draw in maybe Crystal Palace or West Ham, but... I've gone the other way.
Stoke City, we explained. Spurs, you've explained.
Aston Villa, Wolves. I've given them, new manager comes in at home. They're unbeaten at home this year.
Okay, page 2. Barnsley,
Fulham.
Stevie B's Fulham.
Yeah, well, they haven't won in 6, but they're
missed
unbeaten.
2 penalties.
Yeah, one was the last kick of the game against QPR.
Yeah, they missed 2 penalties.
Yeah, I saw the highlights of it.
So you
Barnsley have only started off well, Barnsley, but they've got 1 point from the last 4 league games. I think there'll be goals in this, but I like Fulham.
Yeah, me too. They've got players.
Yeah, Blackburn, Ipswich. Blackburn can score, but they shipped them in as well. Now, Ipswich have scored 8 goals from the 11 league games. But they've got the second best defensive record, so I've given them the benefit. Likewise, Brighton are going well. They'll be close. If you want to bank a Brighton and halve your perm or put the draw in elsewhere. But since Aidan McGeady's come on loan from Everton to Preston, we've got 10 from the last 15 games. And we beat Bournemouth in the League Cup. So we've come right, but it'll be a difficult game. But because the perm allows it, we've thrown the draw in there. Derby, I've gone with them at home against Leeds.
Newcastle too good?
Should be. It's interesting, there's a guy, Ian Holloway, who writes for the Sky Sports.
Yes.
And he's tipping that the upset of the week.
Brentford?
Yeah, he said they've got the 3rd best defensive record. I just don't see it. Newcastle beat Norwich at home 4-3, then they beat Rotherham. I fancy them there.
QPR, Reading?
And Reading, of the 2 teams, I've gone for Reading. Reading in the draw.
All right, that's interesting. Let's have a look at your best bets, because this is where we're red hot. Now, Budge's best bets, tell us about the first one.
Well, I think Bournemouth will be too good for Hull. I like Crystal Palace to beat West Ham, and I think Spurs will be too good for West Brom. That works out 1,100 to 200. The over 2.5 goals market, I've gone for the value. I can't take 4 and 5 to 10, some of the teams. So I've gone Burnley, Fulham. There has to be a minimum of 3 goals in each of these games.
It could be 3-0?
Could be 3-0, yep. Then Crystal Palace, West Ham, and I think Middlesbrough, Watford. 2 teams that have a go, both got to get a result.
Yeah.
So 1170 to 200. Now the tricky one that some people don't understand, but I'll explain, it's Atletico Madrid to score over 2.5 goals. That means they have to score 3 goals.
Yes.
They're playing a team called Granada, poor team. The 2 strikers, Griezmann, Guerrero up front. I think they'll score 3. Real Madrid are away from home against Real Betis. They're struggling at the back. Ramos is injured, but all their attacking players are available. They're away. I think they've got to score 3 goals. And Crystal Palace to score 2 goals. They've got to score at least 2 over West Ham. So that's 1150 to 200, that treble.
And then page 2, your Budgie's best.
These are the both to score games, Paul. As everybody knows, I like this market. Chelsea, Leicester, both to score. Crystal Palace, West Ham.
So you're giving West Ham a goal?
Yeah, 3 or 4-1. I think Payet will bend a free kick. And Middlesbrough, Watford. That works out 840 to 2. And the championship one, Barnsley, Fulham. I think that'll be high scoring. Wigan, Burton. And Aston Villa, Wolves. 840 to 200.
Well, there we are. Budgie's best bets. Get on them. It looks like a wonderful weekend's football, culminating obviously with that big game on Monday night. And we'll see you next week. Make sure you're on side.